Hi, my name's Katie Faisal, and today my partner and I, Allie, will be doing a biodiversity project specifically on Glaucomys sabrinus, which are northern flying squirrels. So what is biodiversity? So biodiversity includes the world's species with their evolutionary histories, but also genetic variability within and among populations of species and the distribution of species across local habitats, ecosystems, landscapes, and whole continents or oceans. So what is a flying squirrel? So it's known as Glaucomys sabrinus. It's a northern flying squirrel, and it's one of the 3 species of flying squirrels in the United States. It has 25 subspecies, each having different color distributions. It lives in coniferous and mixed forests, especially moist environments. It uses its wings to glide to different parts of the forest, but cannot walk very well on land, though it does utilize its little hands. The squirrel has a lifespan of 10 to 15 years, and it has major predators including raccoons, martins, and owls. And to the right here, this is a picture of the flying squirrel. I would say it's probably an adult.
Our research question for this project was, how has the mass and length of flying squirrels changed over the past 60 years in Alaska, Oregon, California, and Washington, respectively? Our hypothesis is that the flying squirrels are expected to decrease in mass and length over time due to climate change-related temperature increases. And this is due to Bergmann's rule, which we're going to talk about later in this presentation. The flying squirrels in Alaska should have the largest mass and smallest length compared to Washington, Oregon, and California due to environmental factors such as lower temperatures and more abundant food sources. So if you look here on the right, this is a picture of a coniferous forest. This doesn't look very recognizable to us in Pennsylvania because our conifers are really sparsely located in our forests, which would explain why we have not a lot of flying squirrels here anymore compared to places like Alaska and states out west.
So in this next slide, I will be briefly describing the methods that we used. So the first thing that we did was we utilized this website called vertnet.org. There we researched for the northern flying squirrel species in the question box and downloaded the data that was necessary for the Excel spreadsheet. 500 results showed up. We wanted female flying squirrels only, so 500. The data then was exported to Outlook, and relevant data was filtered to compare statistically. The different variables, including mass and length, were statistically analyzed using an ANOVA and Excel to generate p-values. The data was then analyzed in order to determine if our hypothesis was accepted that flying squirrels are expected to decrease in mass and length over time due to climate change. Precision and accuracy was maintained by downloading all these data values in order to have a larger sample size.
And these are some of our results that we got from VertNet. This is showing the average length and average mass of all of the squirrels. As you can see, the average length and mass in Alaska is the largest of all of the categories. And then the p-values for each state are on the right. All are below 0.05, which means they are significant. Here are figures that we generated from our VertNet data. This first one from Alaska, actually both figures from Alaska support a hypothesis. This is a good place for me to explain this and the reasoning. So we said that the length over time, actually it doesn't agree with length over time. Mass over time significantly decreased from 1950 to about 2015. And this is likely due to increasing temperatures, like according to Bergmann's rule, which we're going to explain. And that's just saying that as temperatures increase, then body mass will decrease due to thermodynamics of animals, thermoregulation of animals. Here's California. California does not agree with our hypothesis. It's saying that length increased over time, which agrees, and mass increased over time, which does not agree. And we're not really sure why the mass increased over time in California, but it's interesting to note that mass and length is important for the aerodynamics of these squirrels. So the increase in mass, if it's significant enough, could be detrimental to that species because they might lose some ability to fly, ability to glide, that is, from trees. And they have we study them a lot to determine how to make flying objects, like how to make gliders and things. Humans do because of the way that they can glide in their proportions. Because the appendages are long and mass over time in Oregon decreased, which also relates to Bergman's rule, as the temperatures increased because mass and temperatures of climate of the region where these animals live are inversely related. So thank you for watching.
Thank you.
In Washington, the length decreased, and in Washington, the mass decreased. So the reasoning for this, like I said earlier, is climate change pretty much. To sum it all up, climate change could be a driving factor in the mass and length changes. Several studies analyzing climate change in California's mountain regions indicate that since 1950, which is where a lot of our data starts at, there's been a rapid warming trend. And the largest increases in temperatures have occurred during the winter and spring. I'm not sure how relevant this is, but this does coincide with the mating period of the northern flying squirrels. And then visually, we have figures of the western states, and A, which would be the first row of photos of first four figures, first row. That's showing January, February, March minimum temperatures. And then the next row is maximum temperatures. Red would be the greatest increase, and then frost days and degree days over 0. And then some of our statistical analysis coincides with the severity of warming shown in this picture, like in Oregon, where the mass decreased and length increased. Okay, just to really sum everything up, I'm going to go back to Oregon. References. Thank you for listening.
Thanks.